What is going on? You already know it's Orlando, and today, well, it's summertime, and we're already wondering about 2K20. Today, I kind of want to talk about all the parks in 2K history, not the gameplay, none of that. I'm just talking about the style of the park and how the parks were built and how they look and all of that. So with that being said, let's just get right into the video.
If you're looking to buy or sell a 2K account, make sure you hit up Sports TMB. It's the most reliable account service in the 2K community. He has a bunch of accounts with high overalls, max badges, and more. Make sure you let him know Orlando in Chicago sent you.
2K14 was the very first year that 2K had MyPark, and it was only for the next gen consoles, the PS4s and the Xbox Ones. And back then, not everyone had those consoles. I couldn't afford one. I didn't have one. I just had my Xbox 360. So I did miss out on the 2K14 MyPark scene. Well, back then I did see a lot of streams and I did watch YouTube videos, and I've seen a lot of footage of the 2K14 park. And as y'all can see, they only got one park and it was pretty lit. I mean, they had a bunch of 3v3 courts and a couple 2v2 courts. It was well designed. It was built around a city. I can't really tell what city it was. It's probably New York, but who knows? It's just a made up city. And the courts were organized so uniquely in 2K14. It's the only 2K that had these big blue digital scoreboards that kept track of like your points, assists, and rebounds per game. Like everyone that was involved in that game, they'd be on that scoreboard. You guys can see it in the footage here in the background. It was pretty lit, you know. Nowadays you got to press the start key and it shows everyone's name up there, and it shows how many points they have and all of that, how many shots they've took. They didn't have that back then. They had that big scoreboard and you just had to look to the side to keep track. It was pretty cool because anyone who was watching the game from the sidelines could actually see what people are who's scoring and how many points each player has and all of that. Nowadays in 2Ks, if you're like just watching outside of the park, like you're not in the game, you can't tell who has how many points and how many shots someone has took, you know. Back then you could, and that was pretty lit. So in 2K15, they dropped 3 brand new parks for us, and that was, Rivet City, Old Town Flyers, and Sunset Beach. You already know, man. You guys know the 3 main parks right there. And these parks were designed completely different. All the parks had the exact same style. They had 2 2v2 courts and 6 3v3 courts. The 2v2 courts were on top, and on top of that you had different sections where it would lead you to the stage or the Jordan Rec Center. The park design was probably one of the best park designs possible, because when you load in right in front of the 2v2 courts, and if you want to go to the 3v3 courts, it's not too far away. If you want to go to the Jordan Rec Center or the stage, it's not far away. It kind of just spawned you in the middle of everything, you know. It was kind of nice. But even though all the designs were the same for each park, they all had their own special scenery. Sunset Beach, they were like at a beach like in Florida or California. Sun was bright. I mean, when you went into the Sunset Park, you could not see anything. It was actually one of my least favorite parks. I always thought the design looked cool, like the scenery and all that was really cool. I like the courts and all that, the shadows and all that was really cool, but it was just too bright, like it would hurt my eyes. I don't know if it was that. I don't know if it was like that for anyone else, but for me and the people I played with, we all hated playing in Sunset that year. And then you had the Rivet City Rough Riders. That's where I was from in 2K15. And the park was just mellow, It wasn't too bright. It wasn't too dark. It was just like perfect. You were kind of like in the hood, the hoops had chains on them and all of that, But it was a lit park. I really enjoyed this Rivet City Rough Rider park in 2K15. And then you had the Flyers. The Flyers got 2 parks in 15, because if your park won rival day, your park would get a brand new park. The first park they had was like a park setting park. It was cool. It was like in the middle of a park, and I don't know, it was pretty chill. I liked it. It was probably one of my favorite parks of all time. Like the scenery was nice, the whole layout was nice. And then the new park they got for winning rival day, they got a park like in a military base. There was like a helicopter, and there was just it was just really dark, and the course looked cool though. It was a cool design. I enjoyed it. And yeah, those are the parks in 15. But I do want to talk about the designs of the stage in 15, because they're unique. When you walked over to the stage, The normal stage was a cool design. They had the 4v4 court in there, 2v2s, and I believe like 4 3v3s. It was a nice design. I like the colors and the layout of the stage, or it just looked like it was inside of like some illegal gambling area. I don't know, it just looked pretty lit. And then if you took the elevator and went to the high rollers, it was the exact same layout as the other stage, just different colors. And dude, I don't know, these were like my favorite stage colors and designs from all 2Ks. And then they also had the Jordan Rec Center. We'll talk about it right now because it was the only like walk-on Jordan Rec Center in 2K history where you actually had to go to a separate park, and they had 4 5v5 courts and you can roam around. It was pretty cool, and yeah, we all know about it, we all miss it, but they're not bringing it back, but it's all good. And then 2K16 dropped, and they brought us 3 brand new parks, and they were all styling and profiling. They were nice, you know. The Sunset Beach Park was bright, and it wasn't as bright as 2K15. It actually didn't hurt my eyes, but they had a big like fish tank with like sharks and whales in there. It was like an aquarium type of setting in that park. And then the Rivet City Rough Riders, they were like inside of a factory. That park was kind of actually an L. The 2K15 Rough Rider park was way better, but yeah, in 16 they put them inside a factory, and it just had no type of scenery. It was just kind of boring, so that park kind of sucked. Well, it only sucked until they won Rival Day, because after Rivet City won Rival Day in 2K16, they probably got the greatest park in history. They received this beautiful park. It was like a park on top of a skyscraper with a bunch of helicopters surrounding the building, and it was lit. It was the best park. Just look at this park and cherish it, because I believe this park right here is the best park in 2K history. And then you had the Old Town Flyers Park. They were outside in a carnival, they had a big Ferris wheel, and they had like all these other rides surrounding the park. It gave it good vibes. I mean, the Flyers Park and the Sunset Ballers Park in 16 were lit. Rivet was pretty dead. But besides that, all 3 parks actually had different layouts this year. The Sunset Ballers Park was the only park out of the 3 that had a 4v4 court. And then the Flyers and the Rivet City Rough Riders parks, they didn't have the 4v4 court, but they were the only parks they had a 1v1v1 court, you know, and that was different, you know. That was the first year they brought the 1v1v1 court. But yeah, each park that year was really unique, very different layouts and all of that, which was cool. They were trying to make them more unique to themselves. And then the Ante Up stage area was different from 15. They changed it. They made it look more like casino-ish, like traditional casino-ish. It was cool. I still like the 2K15 layout of the stage way better. And then in 2K16, they removed the high rollers, so the high rollers didn't exist. So there was only one stage layout, and you had to look at it the whole entire time. You know, you couldn't go to the high rollers. But it's cool. It was still a cool layout, just not as good. And then 2K17 came around, and we got the exact same parks from 2K16. We got the same Sunset Baller Park, the same Flyers Park, and the same original Rivet City Park. They didn't even give us the brand new Rivet City Park, the cool one on the skyscraper. Nah, they gave us the old doll one in the factory, which is pretty crazy. They should have just at least kept the cool looking Rivet, you know? But 2K17 park design wise was a huge disappointment. I mean, if you played 2K16, you had to play in the exact same parks all of 2K17. When the game first dropped, we thought this was a joke. Maybe they were gonna drop an update a week later after release with brand new parks. It never happened. We thought, you know, maybe Halloween will come and they'll hook us up with a new Halloween park. It never happened. We thought, you know, Thanksgiving, maybe we'll get a turkey park. Nope. Yo, Christmas, they're gonna hook us up for Christmas, right? This is it, Christmas. Nah, we got the same parks the whole entire year. It was a nightmare. Let me get the facts straight real quick. The 2K17 gameplay was amazing. The park vibe was not as lit as it could have been if they gave us different parks. But besides that, 2K17, same parks, the same stage, Ante Up, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, the parks 2K17, there's not much to say about them. You know, Sunset got a little darker. Flyers was still the same old Flyers, and Rivet was the same old Rivet. And then 2K18 rolled around, and they removed the 3 parks. You know, no more Sunset, no more Rivet, no more Old Town Flyers. Like, all that stuff is gone, and we get 1 park. But it's not even a park, it's the neighborhood. We got the neighborhood in 2K18, and we thought it was lit. When they first showed us the trailer, we were all going crazy, getting hyped. And then we finally got to play the game, and a month later, we all hate the neighborhood because the parks were always dead. Because people are always like walking around, going into stores and stuff. People are always just like, they're not at the courts. And then the court design was horrible. When you walked into the park area, the layout was terrible. The 2v2 courts, which are super popular in, you know, the past 2Ks, were all the way in the top, like left corner, far away from the entrance. So every single time you went to the park, you had to go up the little staircase, go to the left, go up another staircase, go down that road and go up on another staircase and another staircase until you finally got to the 2v2 courts. It was it was a horrible design, let's put it that way. Horrible. People couldn't streak on the 2s unless you had some type of clout, because no one would go in that area because it was so far away. So everyone would just hop on like the 3v3 courts. And I'm telling you, man, the design for that park was horrible. You also couldn't like use your rep rewards in the park area in 2K18. You couldn't use your, you know, your skateboards or bikes or anything like that in the park area. You can only go down the street of the neighborhood. And it was just, I don't know, the 2K18 neighborhood was completely not good. But, you know, they wanted to try something new, so we'll give them credit for that. You know, they gave us something new. We thought we were gonna like it, but we ended up not liking it, and that was 2K18. Now 2K19 is here, and we're playing it right now, right? The park has changed. It's still the same neighborhood. It's the neighborhood part 2, but it's different. 2K listened to us. They know we didn't like walking down that long road in 2K18 just to get to the park. And now in 2K19, the neighborhood is in one big block. It's a big block. The parks are in the middle. The stores are all surrounding it. And it's just a big block. 2K19 has its goods and its bad about the park design. The parks are still dead, and I still believe it's due to the stores in the neighborhood surrounding it. This is like a huge key factor of why the parks are dead. People are inside shopping, changing clothes, roaming around in the neighborhood, and they're not actually in the park lined up to play games. The park should be in a separate server by itself for people who actually want to play park games. So that server will be loaded with people who are actually playing the game and not like changing clothes and, you know, walking around the hood and all of that, you know? So they got to change that. But besides that, that's like the main key factor they got to do. Remove the park, just keep the park design the same. Well, not the same, you know, still switch it up, but their idea was awesome. The parks change daily. Like, it goes from sunlight to sundown, sunset, all of that. It changes throughout the time of day, you know, which I really enjoy in 2K19. And they also change parks for different events like Ruffles or Court Conquer. They added tons of events and different designs for all these events, and it's really cool. I mean, the park always changes, the look is always changing, and I really do enjoy that in 2K19. I mean, we're still unable to ride like our skateboards and hoverboards and bikes and low riders and all that. We can't ride those in the park. We can only ride it in the neighborhood. It would be cool if we can go back to like old days where we can ride our vehicles inside the park area. But yeah, those are a couple things 2K's just got to switch around. They got the idea rolling, man. They got the parks changing a lot, so we have different sceneries, but the parks are still dead because of the neighborhood. They got to take that away. So this is the way I see it. In 2K20, they need to have separate parks, just like in 2K15, 16, and 17. And then when you get into that park and you load in, that place is the only place where you're able to play park games, right? And then you know how you used to have a different entrance area for the stage or for the Jordan Rec Center in 15, 16, and 17? Like the different places where you just go to the area, click X, and you load into that area. There should be one that says the neighborhood. You can load into the neighborhood and it just be like a block of nothing but stores. There'll be no courts or anything like that. It'll just be a block of stores. Have them in two completely different servers. So everyone who's in a server where people are, you know, trying to play park games, the parks won't be dead, and people who are actually not clouded up and not famous in 2K will actually be able to get games and streak it up. And that's what I got from this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down below what you guys think is the best park in 2K history, like design wise. Like I said, I believe my favorite one is the 2K16 Rivet City second park they got, you know, after winning the rival day. But let me know which one is your favorite down below. But that's all I got for you guys here today. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe. But I'm the O, and I'm out.
Till you find your way back home.